Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about some of the more underrated benefits of minimalism. And I've been a minimalist for about 3 years now, and minimalism really has had a tremendous impact on my life. And a lot of that has been in the obvious ways. I have less stress and more organization, less mindless accumulation, and more intentional decision making. But some of the benefits have been more subtle and less obvious. So we're going to talk about some of the more underrated benefits of minimalism that may be less noticeable, but are still hugely impactful. So I'm excited to dive into this with you guys today. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. But now let's get started with the first underrated benefit of minimalism, and that's that it gives you flexibility for life change. It's a simple fact that our lives are not static as humans. We're constantly experiencing change, some of the smaller variety and some of the massive life-altering variety. And the wonderful thing about minimalism is that it can help create margin so that you can be flexible when that life change occurs to be able to adapt to the situation at hand. It can make things like moving to a new city or a new town so much less stressful and burdensome than they would be otherwise. And there are so many examples of life changes that many of us experience where minimalism can be so incredibly valuable, whether that's getting married or moving out or transitioning between jobs, having a baby, or really anything else. Okay, let's now talk about number 2, and this is a personal favorite of mine, and that's that tidying becomes so much easier when you adopt a more minimal lifestyle. And this isn't to say my home never gets messy, because it definitely does, but the biggest difference that minimalism makes is that when you own less, tidying up becomes so much easier. I love that my home only takes about 5 minutes to tidy up from start to finish, because it makes it so that I can easily integrate it into my daily routine, and it doesn't feel like this monstrous chore to me. It's just something simple that I can do a couple times a day or once a day to really be able to feel this sense of peace and tranquility in my home. But then on top of that, it also makes hosting a less stressful and a more joyful experience. And I now love welcoming people into my home for dinner or drinks or games, because I'm not having to worry about how does my space look. I can spend a few minutes tidying up and then invite people in and then be able to focus on the relationships that I'm building instead of worrying about, oh, did I leave this thing out, or I have this mess in this pile, what if they notice it? It's just all simple, clean, and it creates a really comfortable space for us to be able to welcome people into. Okay, moving on. Number 3 is that minimalism gives you more time to pursue your passions. And when we stop spending countless hours binge watching Netflix, scrolling on social media, or online shopping, it is incredible how much time we're able to free up so that we can focus on the things that we're actually passionate about, the things that we truly love. And the great thing is we can really spend that freed up time however we want. We can spend time investing in relationships with loved ones or practicing hobbies that we may have not touched in years. The choice is really up to you, but when we change our go-to from consuming mindless entertainment and always focusing on material possessions to being really intentional and to filling our time with the things that we love, we really are able to transform our experience of life from being what everyone else does to being something that's mindful, that's purposeful, and that's suited to you and your passion. And if that's where you're at right now and you want to get back into an old hobby or finally learn about that thing that you've always wanted to learn about but keep putting off for one day, then I definitely recommend checking out today's sponsor, Skillshare. And Skillshare is an amazing online community for lifelong learners, creatives, and really anyone looking to grow personally. They have thousands of classes on their platform on everything ranging from photography to plant care to productivity and time management and so much more. And recently I took a great class on interior design, which is a passion that I'm looking to explore more. The class is called Style Your Space, and it's taught by Henderson. And if you're interested in interior design or in creating a home that's reflective of who you are, I definitely check that one out. And the wonderful thing about Skillshare is that they really do make learning affordable. A Skillshare annual subscription is less than $10 a month, and if you're one of the first 1,000 people to sign up for Skillshare today using the link in the description box below, you can actually get your first 2 months on Skillshare for free. So if you're ready to make one day today and finally pick up that hobby again or start learning about that thing that you've always wanted to, then be sure to sign up for Skillshare using the link in the description box below. Let's keep going now though with some more benefits of minimalism. Number 4 is that you experience a lot less decision fatigue. And making decisions is a part of being human. But in the modern world that we live in, we make a lot of decisions on a daily basis. Some are more significant, like where we're going to go to school or who we're going to marry, and others are very inconsequential, like what we're going to eat, what we're going to wear that day, what we're going to listen to on our drive to work, and so on. And the thing is, we do have a limited capacity to make those decisions, and the more time we spend on those non-consequential decisions, the less energy and attention we have to devote to those important decisions that we need to make. And where minimalism comes to play in all this is that it helps us to reduce or even eliminate some of the less important decisions that we need to make daily so that we can spend time focusing on the really important ones that will make a difference. So instead of wasting 15 minutes in the morning trying to decide what to wear, we're able to focus our time and attention on trying to make decisions that are actually going to matter. Okay, number 5 is that you experience less stress. And when we constantly cling on to our material possessions, it often subconsciously creates stress in our minds that keeps us always on edge and worried about either accumulating or holding on to the things that we own. And before I discovered minimalism, I almost constantly felt this way. I was always feeling overwhelmed by the things that I own and felt like I was managing them constantly instead of just living my life. But when I adopted minimalism and took my focus away from the material things and got rid of all of the excess, that stress immediately went away because I wasn't focused on the material possessions anymore. The things that were overwhelming me, I decluttered, I got rid of them, and I was able to instead focus on living my life and not worrying about the things, but instead focusing on the people who at the end of the day were going to bring joy into my life and happiness in a way that the stuff I had never could. Okay, so apparently my card just filled up, so I just switched that out, but we should be good to go now. Let's move on though to number 6, and that's that minimalism gives you an increased ability to save. And this one is pretty straightforward. When you spend less and when you buy less, it's naturally going to result in you saving more. But this is one that's had a tremendous impact on Christopher and I's lives. Since adopting minimalism, we have been able to more than double our rate of savings because number 1, we're not spending money on things that we don't need. But then number 2, as our income has gone up, instead of spending more money and increasing the lavishness of our lifestyle, we've instead chosen to save that money and to invest it. And then I think the other aspect of this that's important to consider is that minimalism also makes you more conscious of how you're spending your money. When we develop a more intentional approach to acquiring our physical possessions, it translates to other areas of our lives as well. We might be more conscious of how often we're eating out, how expensive the food is that we're eating, what grocery stores we're choosing to shop at, and what impulse food purchases we might be bringing home. And those small things really do add up over time, increasing our ability to save. And then finally, number 7 is that minimalism really gives you the opportunity to inspire and impact others. And I can't tell you the number of friends and family members who I've had come up to me over the past few years and tell me that I've inspired them to declutter their closets or to simplify their lives and the sense of peace and freedom that it's created for them. I think that simplifying your life and living with less is something that a lot of people want to do, but sometimes they don't always know how, or they just need a little bit of inspiration and motivation to help them start and get headed in the right direction. And I think for me, the coolest thing about minimalism is that it's allowed me to inspire and impact others to live more meaningful and purposeful lives in however small a way. So that's it really. Those are some of the more underrated benefits of minimalism that I've personally experienced. I hope you guys enjoyed this one though, and that it hopefully gave you a little bit of a glimpse into some of the benefits of minimalism and how living with less really can be more. Like I mentioned before, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And don't forget that if you sign up for Skillshare today using the link in the description box, you can actually get your first 2 months on the platform for free. But now I want to know, what are some benefits of minimalism that you've personally seen in your own life? Be sure to let me know and comment those down below. And if you're here for the first time and haven't already, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button for more simple and intentional living content coming at you twice a week. That's everything for this one though. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.